Good morning, chat. Morning, Jeff. Just wait a little bit for some other guys to get in this room. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jeff. So just letting chart settle down. I actually took a loser this morning. All right, down one trade on each account currently. Just a lack of follow through in the market. And we have some divergence with the VIX, unfortunately. So the VIX started making new lows. I was looking for a rotation back to highs on NQ and got my stop run. So we just wait for some more people to turn up. So as you can see here on the hourly, those that are here, we're trading between yesterday's point of control and today's point of control, just stuck in this range. The key levels for me are this white line down here, 167. Do we protect that? Because this is the low that created this high, so everything in here is really just internal range. And there's decent amount of room here, a good 100, 150 points. So I want to see if we now dig down lower, maybe take out this internal low, protect this low for a rally back up, or if we're really going to get weaker and come and retest and give all of this area back where we put in that squeeze yesterday. But really I'd want to see this late day base hold, this move into 1 o'clock yesterday, 165, kind of want to see that hold and this area hold. The easier move for me seems upside, come and clear out all these stops here and then the next leg up in towards 400. Daily also looks good. All right, daily we're now basing above that Monday, Friday level. All right, so we want to see if we can hold dips into this area on the daily for the extension up to start clearing out 335 and 400 and then potentially back into this Bollinger Band. And if we do that, the Bollinger Band will start trending upside again. We have news coming out in 30 seconds. Just be aware of that. Okay, so this morning I got stuck in a trade. All right, I got long here. Right, because we broke out, pulled back in. I was looking for flow zones to hold and I got stopped out right here. So I'm 1 hour down on the day, just for transparency. And it is pretty choppy this morning, all right, pretty choppy. Even though the VIX is starting to let go of 21, there's a lack of buying participation for upside. Morning, Jeff. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Michael. Morning, everybody in the chat. So you got news hitting the wire right now, should be wholesale inventories. Not a big piece of news, but nonetheless some news. You have Fed talkers and speakers all day, and you have those FOMC minutes later in the day. So it might be what the market's waiting for. Good morning, Marek. So maybe now we get that upside move with the VIX dumping down. All right. ES very close to previous day high here. Most of Mag 7 is red today. Microsoft and Apple, the only ones green on the day. Everything else is red. So very, very tricky morning. Good morning, Matt. We're in a very tight range. This range is crap so far on the initial balance, 61 points. Not a lot we can do with that right now. Morning minutes. Morning, Mathey. So ES keeps tapping on the door of previous day high. Hey, Candy Cane. So I might do a shorter stream today if it's poor action, but we'll see. I've got a lot going on outside of the charts right now, as those in my room will know. So very, very choppy here. ES can't get through previous day high, even though the VIX is dropping down, right? VIX now under 21. So its next leg down should be moving into yesterday's low, into 20.67. If it does that, it still has that gap fill potential. We would be expecting upside moves in the market right now, given what we're seeing in VIX, and we're not. All right, so we've got slight divergence there. ES unwilling to get through previous day high right now. NQ nowhere near it. And pretty choppy action this morning. My bias is currently to upside unless we're going to build this out. And then we can look for a rotation into these overnight lows. Right, that's your London low right here. The easier move higher time frame is without a doubt to upside right now. Problem is, yet again, they're doing the nice moves overnight. All right, so London had a really nice move. Asia rolled down, London rolled back up, swept Asia, came back inside. So now we're stuck in the middle of the range. Less than ideal when we get these moves overnight. It seems to be a very, very common theme at the moment. Overnight gets the moves. The AM session is horrible. And then the PM session, we often get continuation or reversal. The afternoon session. There's a very nice trade yesterday. Those in my Discord would have got it. We talked about it on the stream earlier in the day, what we were looking for. So far, holding those flow zones. Do we get a microstructure here for rotation up? The easier trade is going to come above these levels. If it could complete effectively a cup move up, create a handle, and then offer extension. $350, I think, is a good level to aim for. This is the move I was looking for earlier that I got stopped out in. This exact move now, if it's going to extend. Do not like that ES has rejected that previous day high so far. VIX still at 21. It is messy here looking across the charts. Ninja is delayed as well. Look at this. This is a worry. My Ninja chart here is completely off. All right, that makes it untradeable. Wow, I'm gonna have to reset this. That's probably why I lost that trade earlier as well. Let me reset this. All right, so just check your Rhythmic and Ninja Trader. That was quite notable there. Not very often, Matt. Not very often at all. Looking good for that move up now that we were looking for. Of course, I've missed it while resetting. Okay, so ES through previous day high now. What a shame. That would have been nice. Can't trade though when there's lag like that. It's terrible. So I have to look now if we get an SMT, if this is a sweep to go lower, if we, like we said, we get that cup and handle type move for the extension up. This is the move I was looking for this morning. Mag 7 starting to go green on the day now. All right, the only ones left red currently are Google, which is down 2%, Meta and Tesla. So ES needs to have a clean break above 808, open the door for a move to 819, 820, 822, that kind of area. If it's just a sweep of previous day high and come in, we're going to trade back inside range. Going to be a horrible morning again for initial balance rotation. Why you cannot chase the highs, right? You have to have clean breakout and base above for that pullback. Until then, you get moves like this. I'm probably going to wait for the initial balance hit, because I think it's the safest way to trade this session currently from what I'm seeing. Really want to be thinking about longs here until it proves otherwise. I'm concerned about S&T, so I'm just going to let this figure itself out. ES having another go now. I'll try and join this to the long side. I'm taking that off there. Just scalping my way back from that 1 hour loss earlier. But yeah, no lag now, so I don't know what happened earlier. VIX looking very nice here, under 21s, moving back down towards that old support at 2070 to 2060. If it does that, we should have continuation on the market. We need to see buyers come in here though. It feels like this, obviously there can't be enough shorts trapped in here, all right, after we did that move pre-market and now we're just chopping in this range. It's a giant W. We need to get above here, trap shorts and go again. Very, very choppy conditions and not a huge amount of range. I'm going to be right back, guys. I'm just going to get some water. It's going to require a lot of patience today, team. It's going to require a huge amount of patience today. needs to get above these levels here. All right, we are looking effectively, move that water so I can see. We are effectively needing something like this, all right, for a breakout of here, but you have to respect that this is supply. So every time we've come into it, we've failed off it. This is yesterday's spike. So we moved from here. This is where we trapped shorts. This was a lovely move back. So we're now looking for continuation upside, at least into this. Problem is there's not many news drivers, and you've got the FOMC minutes later, which shouldn't be big, but they probably will move the market. And the reason for that is traders will be looking to see if there's a hint on what Powell or what the other members were saying with regards to the next cut. Many thought that they should have only done a quarter basis point cut the last cut. So they'll be looking now, are they thinking about another half point, quarter point, more than that? Staying at this rate? If we stay at this rate, I think the market probably rolls over a bit. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, Stephen. Well, you're not missing anything. You can always come back and check in the afternoon. The last few days, the afternoon sessions have been pretty good. Today in the afternoon, we do have that news event. And there is a seller on the tape here, up at 350, trying to drag the market up. There's a buyer on the tape way down at 162. That 162 is that hourly wick I talked about. This down here is what they will want to protect, okay? Because really the range is this currently, right? Because this is the low that created this high. So anything in here is just creating liquidity. This is the edge of the range. So a slow morning again. This market's not been very kind to us recently. Until yesterday. Yesterday provided a nice trend day in the afternoon. The mornings have been poor. But so far, every pullback is holding. We are in a pro-bullish trend. We have a clear target to aim for. This is previous day close, and this is previous day high. ES has already taken out previous day high and cannot get a close above it. All right, so what I'm concerned about is SNT, where we sweep liquidity and we fail. Very similar to what we had yesterday. Pretty significant pullback here on the ES off that high. All right, so it's spiked up to 810, now trading at 805. In a nice upward channel, but if it starts to let go, I'm going to be very, very cautious here. Five-minute flow zones on the ES are holding for now. Okay, so it looks like we want to go for previous day high here, like we talked about. Should take us back into this red line if we can do it. You were hoping for a trending day. Yeah, I think we're all hoping for a trending day right now. Matt R. Would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice. Like, it feels like it wants upside, and I've been saying that for a while. There's lots of levels it wants to go and hunt. But it's definitely not making it easy for us at the moment. Be nice if we just got one of those really nice trend days where we start the morning off with maybe a pullback and then just a big move up, deeper pullback, and then just continuation higher all day. Might still get it, plenty of time left. There is plenty of time left. Initial balance will be set in 13 minutes. We're going to see where we're pinned. But right now you just have to be aware that this area that we're in here is supply. If we look left, this is supply from yesterday, right here. But what we're really looking for is the same thing as always. And if we get above this, we're looking for a breakout, a retest, and a long. Failure to do that will mean we'll come and hunt stops to the downside. Just a lack of momentum here. Even if I'd held that scalp long I took, I'd be up. Let's have a look. 15 points in like 10 minutes. I mean, it's poor. That is really poor. So VIX retesting that 21. So wicked under it is retesting 21 now. ES still without the ability to close above its previous day high. NQ looking good here. So starting to extend from these flow zones now. It wants to come into this area here. This is where previous day high is. It wants to come and test that and maybe run the stops and get through it. And then we can think about that breakout retest we've been talking about. Morning Mindful Matters. Yes, still not through that previous day high. All right, still cannot get a close through it. It's another 5-minute bar where it failed to close through it. Maybe this one can do it. New 5-minute bar here. Yeah, just don't be forcing that illegal immigrant, because there's nothing here telling you to get short right now. We're in supply. This is a grindy move up. Attacking some key levels. There's previous day high taken now. So now we're thinking about, can it do a push, a pullback, breakout pullback, and a reason to get long. ES now comfortably above its previous day high as well. So the question here is it a liquidity grab here to go lower, or are they going to be able to hold some gains up here to go long, just like we talked about here? All right, shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline, breakout, pullback, go is what we would be looking for long continuation. You can't be thinking short until it gives you a reason to think short, which would be a change in character. You will need the market to do something like this for you to think about a short. Otherwise you are just guessing tops. All right, don't be in the habit of guessing tops. If it changes character here after sweeping, you can think about potentially thinking about shorts. Yeah, I mean, both of them are in very big supply zones, illegal immigrant. So on the ES, well, it's actually just cleared previous day high, and you're trading into that 1st of October, 30th of September zone, which trades all the way up to 22. So far, dips are holding. All right, dips are holding on flow zones. There's no reason to think about a short yet. have initial balance being set in 8 minutes time. At 350, remember I said there's a seller at 350 looking to get filled. So a really nice pullback on the 5 minute, just missed that. Looking to get filled into 300 and we stopped at 07. MNQ1, yeah, this is NQ 1 minute. Gonna be hands off here. I need to wait for some type of bullish setup to happen, whether it be a flag or something down here. I really wanted this to come into this area here. That's what I was looking for. Almost came. I do not want to get trapped at the highs here. It needs to be a clean setup above and pull back if we're going to go. Especially with ES, right? We have very, very tight range and ES has not shown me conviction yet. And VIX is starting to trade back upside right now through 21. That's not what I want to see, the divergence with the VIX against the market. If VIX is going to trade upside, we can have pressure on this market. So I don't want to be getting along watching the VIX trade upside here off the lows. I want to see VIX create a bear flag for lower prices to give me thesis of long. Yeah, the VIX is a ticker, Chris Sosa. It's a volatility index. It works inverse to the market generally, and it's used as a hedge. You can actually trade the VIX with both commons and options. It's used as a hedge. So generally speaking, if the VIX is moving upside, the market has downside pressure. If the VIX is moving sideways or downside, especially in the low teens, the market has a good bullish continuation. Recently, we've been basing above 20, which is not what you really want to see on the VIX. Today, we had a nice flush down, and we're having a pullback moment now. So normally on this pullback moment on the VIX, we'd expect the market to go lower, but it isn't. So correlation seems a little bit off today. So I just want to be a little bit cautious. Because if I'm buying this high here, without a pullback to risk against, I have to risk all the way down here right now. It's 30 points. While the VIX is moving up, I can very well get caught in a flush moment here if the VIX wants to have a good push through 21. We're a bit extended from these flow zones here, so I want to see price come and hang out in here, give me like a W or something, or maybe a deeper one. And if not, if it's going to roll, then so be it. We won't be taking the longs. But what I won't be doing is buying price at the high of day. Especially when we've taken the liquidity. We are looking good that we're staying up here though. I must say the fact that we're staying above previous day high is a good look. What I'm very aware of is that seller at 250. He'll get filled and then I want to see how we act afterwards. Sorry, 250, 350. 350, seller at 350 on the book. So looking to lean into him here. Here he comes. So 111 contracts there at 350 are going to get filled, and then they're moving up to 60s now. Nice move. So they lifted it and moved it up to 60. So just a shame we couldn't get a pattern here for me to play against. But if you got that, good for you. VIX now moving back downside, possible bear flag creation. This is what I want to see to give me confidence. So daily levels now, through this level, 336, 350s, 400s. Feeling this is going to be a grindy day up, not let me in now. That last 15-minute candle looking very, very good. Yeah, me too, Matt. It happens. It happens. I don't even feel like I missed it. It didn't really offer much. Just one candle pullback here, and I was looking to find a pattern down here. That was all we got. One pullback. Everything else upside. So we get a new 15-minute bar in 30 seconds. So we'll see if that bar can offer a decent pullback, maybe into around previous day high, 35s. Even if it wants to come lower, 08, 308, it could come all the way down there on the 15-minute. Thanks, love. VIX now trading back above 21 again. Very, very tight here, guys. Lack of momentum. This is very grindy action. I want to get involved, but I don't want to just click buttons. All right, now we've printed the initial balance high. So decent range, not too bad. 116 points on this range for the initial balance. So again, initial balance rules apply. All right, failed auctions take us back to VWAP, which is where the low time frame algo is, and IB low. Sustained auctions give us trend days, and rotational days just stay in between here. So clear rules defined. Yesterday, if you followed those rules, once we reclaimed that initial balance high yesterday, in the afternoon, you knew the squeeze was on because it trapped shorts. Just be cautious, illegal immigrant, that you're not forcing your narrative. Yeah, just be cautious you're not forcing a narrative. So far, if you think about trend, everything is bullish. Yeah, you would need to see this. So just don't force a narrative. It's very easy to do that and get caught. But if you have a game plan and you know what your risk is, please, by all means, trade your way. I'm not telling you not to trade your way. I'm just telling you be very cautious with narratives. Try and be flexible in the charts. So they're adding sellers now up to 65s. Small prints though, nothing big. Big block now down at 162. Over 200 orders just sat there protecting that H1 low that I talked about this morning. we're at a big daily level here. If we get through this, it opens the door to 390, 400. All right, there's should really put a red block up here. It's on my other charts, but if you go to these charts, all right, through this opens the door up into this area. But it is a big daily level. Right here, the open and close from the 26th and 27th of September. That's what we're trading into here. So you've got to assume everything up here is stop run supply, yeah, up to 400, then all the way up here to 538, right? Because we rejected that hard when we came up. If you didn't know, this right here, this grey box, that is an old gap which we filled. All right, we filled that gap, and it can come down here. On that last drive up, that gap is very, very clear on the ETFs. If you go to QQQ, I think it was the Nvidia gap down day. Oh, did not mean to do that. Sorry, team. There's a still basing here at the initial balance high. So we have the same questions. Are we going to do a dump back down towards VWAP or midpoint, which would be into, let's just call it 300, or are we going to base and do a flag above the IB high for an extension up into 390? Momentum is upside right now. VIX, though, is making it very, very difficult today. Yeah, no worries, illegal immigrant. Well, that's from years and years of doing very similar things to what you're talking about. It's very easy to think price is up too high, it has to pull back, which is true, but markets are resilient. They will keep going, right? There's a theory of max pain in the markets, right? They like to force everybody out the market. So lots of people will be thinking the same as you right now. They'll be looking for a short here because we've swept liquidity, we're at the IB high. They'll be looking for that short rotation down. Markets can be very resilient and know that, and purposefully run another 100 points up higher, getting everyone to add, then they blow up, and then the market will pull back once it's made sure it's taken everyone out. That is the market's job. So far we are rejecting IB high, but we are in bullish structure. All right, we're in bullish structure. So structure first, always structure first. When you're in bullish structure, don't be thinking short. If you don't know what structure you're in, this will just help you really quickly. All right, we're in trend bull. Easier to join a trend if you're looking for a short, easier to join the trend when it goes to a bearish trend. You're intraday playing, you don't need to pick the tops and bottoms. Just join on to wherever that whale is. Grab his tail, get however many points you're looking to make, move on for the day. ES definitely rejecting its IBH here. ES trading well below its IBH right now. Stuck between IBH and previous day high. Very much like the NQ. We might chop in this range for a bit and create liquidity, which has been the name of the game in the market for a good few weeks now, isn't it? Just been creating liquidity. So there's the stop run of the high. Can't look away for even a second. I just want to check that level, 56. Getting odd prints on Ninja the last few days, really weird. I'm tempted to email our trader because shouldn't be a 2-point difference in prints. All data comes from CME. It should be exactly the same. Okay, so the question here is, do they lure in shorts to move higher, or are they going to trap buyers to move lower? And we are going to wait for structure to show us what it wants to do. We are in bullish structure so far. Yeah, Russell has just been trading in side range and not really showing much momentum at all for a few weeks. Market really doesn't know what it wants to do in general. We're up near all-time highs. We've started doing quantitative easing, which normally causes bigger pullbacks. We're less than a month out from the election. We're about to come back into earnings season. There's just so many variables. We have a war going on in the Middle East. We still have war going on in Russia and Ukraine. America is still in the most debt it's ever been in its history. There's just so many moving parts right now. I say to all my students, if you can survive markets like this, all you've got to do is survive these markets. You don't need to make money all the time. When the easier markets come, they will be so easy for you because you'll see very clear defined trends and you'll just be able to join them. Those years when you have nice bull trends for 2-3 years, it's very, very easy. You wake up, you come to your desk, you wait for good levels and you hit buy. Yes, having another go here. So flow zone's still holding for now. Yes, approaching its high of day, which is its initial balance high. NQ has peaked through that already and run the stops. VIX looks like it wants to do a bear flag. If the bear flag fails and it makes a W pattern, then maybe we get that rotation back lower on the market. Nate, just a normal VWAP, mate. Just the standard VWAP. I don't use anything else on it. Yeah, just standard VWAP, nothing else. I don't want any upper bands or anything like that. And I'm not running New York session, I'm just running it through the night. If you do a New York session, that's fine. You can use an indicator on TradingView called daily VWAP, or you can do an anchored VWAP. All right, so if I was going to do New York session, I could do, where are you? An anchored VWAP off the 930 print. Right, this would be your anchored VWAP off New York session right here. No problem. So you have a tightening range up here right now. If we start to fail beneath this, this will become intraday supply. Until then, we're looking for something like that. Looks like it wants to go, but just can't get through that IB. So again, can't get through the initial balance, fading back inside. So IB rules still apply. If you check the ES, it just tagged the IBH and failed. Still in bullish momentum for now. Possible lower high, lower low here, which is now playing out. Okay, so there you have your first potential shift. The question is, do they trap or rotate? Feels like it wants to give a flush here, but just very, very tricky. Watching VIX approach its low of day to think about a flush. Can still be a two-leg pullback. Pivot above here will trigger the squeeze. If it keeps failing, we have to see where this candle closes. Only got a few seconds later. If it keeps rejecting these wicks, 30s and 40s, then maybe they reflush it down. I'm very aware of that two-leg pullback trap to move higher here. Morning, Scott. Good morning, buddy. Can we get this bear flag for a snap down now? That's what I'm looking at now. Needs to snap. There we go. Beautiful. So that rejection we just talked about, 30s and 40s. Lovely. Let's see continuation lower here. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful move. So it gets me back flat on the day there, after losing this morning before stream. So just scalping that. Remember I just said 30 to 40 rejection, which we got. We had the change of character here. We talked about this earlier, 30 to 40 rejection in this target 1, target 2, target 3 now. If it soaks out, I'll be out the remainder. Already took partial on that flush down in case they soak this area. In fact, can close the rest here. Can always re-enter the trade. Oh. So now rejecting previous day high again. So now we need to think about what this is going to look like. If they're going to use this as supply and do a rotation down towards these areas, we need to think about ways we can get involved now. Again, making this very, very hard is the VIX. I would like to currently be seeing the VIX up at like 2120, 2140, and we're not. We're seeing the complete opposite, and it just has me a little bit spooked. I'm going to be honest, because that feels like some weird hedging going on. We should not be seeing that. The VIX now putting in a double bottom. Like if the VIX can W here and pivot up, then I think we get a rotational day of initial balance to VWAP. If it keeps failing on the VIX here, I'm not going to be holding this. I'm going to be thinking this is a trap. At some point, to pivot up here and maybe get long above here. I'd be cautious about taking the long there, even though it's a setup, and I'd be thinking about the cautious back at the highs. And the reason I'm just saying that is just from watching the VIX. That's the main reason I'm saying that. Momentum is still upside. We had a lower time frame change of character. If you go down to a 5 minute, even a 5 minute, make sure I'm on the right chart for you, can come all the way back here, can't it? Where did we break out from? Here. Remember, this is the long I was looking for earlier, where this wick came down and it missed me. Right, so we can reprice here very, very easily, and on a 5 minute still be bullish. Right, so make sure you're zooming out. Tomek, good morning, my friend. Good morning. So I'm not finding this market easy right now. I'm going to be really honest with you. I have less conviction on what it wants to do at the moment because we've come and taken previous day high. And VIX is doing a funny little dance, all right? And that definitely has me spooked. We've broken the previous 2 days lows, which should be meaning good upside. The move up this morning was a bit lackluster. I didn't check Delta, but I doubt it's that good. ATR, pretty normal. So far, these bear flags starting to play out. The question is, how deep does it go? Do we get a rotation? This would be your standard rotation. Or do we get a trap? I'm feeling more towards the trap at the moment just based on what I'm seeing elsewhere. But ES now just rejected IB high again. Tricky action here, team. Tricky action. If we get back into here and above here, I'll definitely be thinking about long, because it would mean that lots of shorts got trapped in here. If we just come up to this level here and start rejecting it, then I'll be looking for something like that. Remember, the M5 is bullish. The M15 is bullish. If you look at 15, we can trade down to 307, 308 to fill that imbalance. Where we broke out from was basically the 300 mark. So we can trade all the way down there and still be bullish on an M15 and an M5. So we came close. Well, we actually came to 15. We did come to 15. So here we go. This is what I was concerned about, this move here. ES now breaking out. New high of day on ES, right? So divergence across the markets and the VIX new low of day. This is exactly what I was just talking about, where I said it felt like they were going to trap here. And I just had that thesis from looking at the VIX. Fresh low of day. VIX now trading at 20.92. ES ripped through the highs, almost tagged 16, pulling back to 14 now. Right, so when you have divergence across the markets like this, you have to be a little bit risk off, right? You can't be trading with full size, looking for good trends and momentum, right? Once this trap finishes and starts to play out, if it proves that it's trapped one side, then we can join. I love joining trends when I know one side is trapped. We will get a sell signal soon here if this starts to break down. Right, so this is the market right now. And the question is this. I know it's and or if or statements here, guys, but that is what the market offers. It offers if or statements. I will give you the market's going to do this when I'm very confident that it will do it. But you have to be prepared both sides, because you've got to understand when your trade is no longer valid. So if you're short right now, your trade becomes invalid when we pivot above 39, right? If you're short for continuation lower, if you do not take out 316, you're going to have shorts trapped in this area, lower time frame shorts over the last 5 minutes. Right, so their stops are like here, and they're looking for a breakdown of here. If it doesn't take this out and does this, you have shorts trapped here for pivot up. If it takes this out, you have longs trapped here for maybe wash down. It is just a building of liquidity. That's what we do. It's how the market moves. I'm really sorry that I explain this over and over again every day. It's probably very, very boring for you, but it's really important you understand how the market moves and why it moves. You've got to know where your risk is. It's all very well other streamers telling you right now, well, we're looking for a breakdown of here, which is fine. That's a valid setup, but they don't tell you where your risk is and where it's invalid and why it's invalid. And that's what you need to understand. So when you're trading by yourself, you can understand what the setup is in front of you. Yeah, thanks, Foster Scott. I know you know that, but the amount of people that probably get frustrated because they just want a straight signal, like sell, 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 sell. I'm always looking for both sides. I'm looking what it does both sides. So now into the deep pullback flow zones, do we come into these areas of 08 all the way down to 300, possibly even 90s, mid 90s. That would be the M15 and M5 pullback. Remember, on an M5, can still be bullish back into where we broke out from. Breakout, retest. All right, retest into this kind of area here. Do we put in a bullish pattern here? Something like this, or something like this? You have to just be aware of the areas. Here are your areas it wants to come and retest. You can also think about a fib, right? Lower day, higher day, 50%. What do you know? Right in line with it. All right, for now, holding flag, isn't it? These red lines here are where we like to pivot for flags if momentum is strong. So you get confluence there with everything I just showed you. You have levels on the M15, levels on the hourly, levels on the M5, and a fib. Everything lining up together. And even these deep pullback flow zones. So if they pivot this up here, you are going to know that they've trapped shorts. If they pivot up, you have to wait. Where a lot of people go wrong is they try and jump in early for the move. Some people do trade just this deep pullback, and it will pay you a lot of the time. There's your first trade, there's your second trade. Even if you scalp, you set your stop underneath that deep pullback, that's fine, as long as that's your actual strategy. But the easier one is to just wait. All right, let it show you. Okay, I want to go up now. I'm going to go up. We've got stops built. I want to go up. Even if you want to use trend lines, you can use a very obvious, clear trend line. Let it break above, base above, hold above, close above, any of those triggers for you. And then you can think about a long. But I'd want to see it basically get over 40 and comfortably get over 40. Be aware, this is your intraday supply. This is where sellers came in, this box here. Intraday, not higher time frame, intraday. Does that make sense to everybody in chat? There's probably a lot of new people here as well. Hopefully everything is making sense. What I try and do is teach while I trade, rather than just having me make or lose money and then, like other guys, either shouting about it really loud or not telling you when I've had a loss. So the first thing I did on stream today was tell you I took a loss before the stream. Not every day is going to be green. Hopefully most are green, but not every day is going to be green. You've got to get used to having red days. It's just part of it. As long as your red days are smaller than your green days, you're good. Okay, VIX breaking down here, right? Fresh lows again on the VIX. ES coming back for a retest of 815. If it gets through 816, it's going to pop high of day. Potentially that will open the door for a squeeze on the Qs. Looking good here now, trying to pivot up. All right, so now it's trying to pivot up. There you go. There's the move. So now we have to see if we can join this. All right, so that trap we just talked about played out perfectly into the deep pullback. This is happening very aggressively now, and the reason for that is that shorts came and got stuck down here, all right, into the levels. This was H1 and M5 pullback zone, right? So they got stuck here, and now we use their stops to go higher. So everything I just talked about laid out way before the trade's happening. So hopefully, even if you didn't take it, now you understand how and why the market moves. Uh, 30th of September, ES. Yeah, so you cleared that first level at 808. And now you've got that level all the way. I've got it all the way up to 22, Scott. All right, so ES can trade up to 22 if it's going to hunt for that liquidity on the day that you're talking about. We talked about it earlier, probably before you got here. So can the market now create more upside momentum? Does it need to pull back into this, into 38, and then do it? Right? Does it need to do this? Or does it just go above and go? But certainly shorts feel trapped in here now. Lovely. Beautiful move. Look at the VIX dumping down now. So there is your reason, guys. If you have enough room on your charts, if you have enough screens, having a small chart on the VIX, run it on an M10 or M5 or M15, can really, really help you, all right? It really helped me know that this was probably a trap move lower. Now we're screaming upside. So we're going to want to check 390 and 400 here. That's what the market wants to do. Maybe we get a trend day up now because we're above the initial balance high and we've trapped sufficient shorts in here for a move up to 390 and 400. That's the next level that the market has. Now it's screaming up. Right, so if you're in this, please be taking some small profits into 390 and 400. All right, hold your runners. Beyond that, in and out. Well, that's fine, Candy Cane. That's fine. So here's that level that we just talked about, Scott, on the ES. All right, extending through now 22. If it gets through 22, it opens the door to 30. I think that's all-time highs, but correct me if I'm wrong. So selling into 22 there on the ES, right? So selling into that liquidity pool. Same pool here on the NQ, into 90 through that 400 psychological, through that opens the door. It opens the door if we get through that. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so higher time frame levels will get you paid, all right? Higher time frame levels will always get you paid. It's where the institutions want to trade. Today's a really good example of that. That pullback, remember we said the pullback on the M5, on the M15 made sense, all right? This was basically 30% pullback. This was the level it wanted to really backtest if it could get there. If you did a fib, it held this flag zone. Anyone doing the course will know exactly what I'm talking about. We talk about this level here in the course as a significant level for flags. And now you get extension. So if it wants to do a true extension, 430 is on the books today. We can even fib this exact level out for the flag. So we're into the 161 here at 84. Through that, a measured move will take you to 400 on the dot. So absolutely everything here has been called out before we took it. That is the difference between gambling and trading, is knowing why you're taking a trade. VIX coming right into that area I talked about this morning. Okay, that low we put in on Monday, 2080 down to 2065. That's the level where it found buyers before. If it fails that level, there is a huge gap, all right, on the VIX. The VIX could then, if it really wanted to do a gap fill, trade all the way down to 1920. If we do that, the market will go on a ripper of a trend day today. But have to respect the supply area that we're currently in and the demand area that the VIX is currently coming into. So again, same thesis here. Breakout. Do we pull back? Can we do a pattern here? If we fail, if we trade back inside, you know what you're looking for. All right, we will use liquidity one way or another. So far you're in bullish momentum. We're above the IB high. We are multi-time frame bullish, but we are coming into some key levels here. Right, so you can see them right here coming into these key levels. Move you to the lower time frame chart. Sorry, forgot. So like I said, this is what I was trying to say. Pullback might be to IB high where we broke out from for continuation. If it fails that and starts coming inside of IB, that becomes your right shoulder and neckline for a rotation. So if this becomes a failed auction, we rotate down to here. And so you've always got two setups in your mind. That will stop you having too much bias in one direction as well. So VIX trading back up to its initial balance low in towards that 21 area after holding, remember what did I say, 20.80 down to 20.65 is where demand is. It tagged into 20.81. All right, so those playing the VIX, selling it, covered their position into there. Structure is still downside pressure on the VIX, which means more upside pressure still available on the market. We just have to let it consolidate here now for a bit. Can't be chasing this. Maybe you get a flag here. This is not a trade I love because this is trading into supply, right? There's supply here between 390, where have I got this measured out on the H1, and 376. So right here, right, is supply. This is where higher time frame sellers are. Don't love taking bullish patterns like a flag when we're in supply because it's just as likely to fail. Much rather we either get through it or we pull back, retest, same thing over and over again. This is probably boring the hell out of you, but this is how you have to trade, all right? You're better off looking for bullish patterns in demand areas or areas where we flip supply into demand, flip blocks as I call them. What you don't want to do is look for bullish patterns in supply, and you don't want to be looking for bearish patterns in demand. Really simple. Exactly, Scott, just like the course says. All right, it means you'll miss some trades because the market will do what it wants. If the market wants to rip here without you, it will do it. But what it will do is keep you really, really safe. So ES having another attempt at breaking out of that 22.75, right? This is where all the stops are, and it opens the gate for that run up. Momentum is super bullish today. That run up, I'm going to draw this across now, is to 830, and that's the all-time high. Pretty sure. I think Scott said I was right there. So that's the all-time high. If it breaks that, you have no overhead supply and resistance. You cannot be picking tops, all right, when we're ripping through to all-time highs. There's nothing to risk against. That is an absolute mug's game, very easy way to get yourself in pain. Like I said this morning in Discord, those who were in the room, bias was upside, had more bias upside. It felt like the easier move and the obvious move, right? All we had to do was look at the H1. The obvious move was to come and take out 20,330, and then tag into the area we're in now. We're in a new H1 bar. Would love to see a deeper pullback here. I'd love to see a deeper pullback here and then see if we get a reaction. If we're going to keep grinding up, it's very likely I won't be trading the rest of the day here, unless it gives a really clean setup. So ideally, some form of trap, right? We want some form of trap. But even ES on a 10-minute chart is so extended away from its flow zones now. I'm very concerned about that. Even this, would like to see this catch up. Maybe some consolidation here and a little trap. Something to get me interested rather than just trading sideways. How many of you got a piece of that move? It looks simple now, doesn't it? Looks really simple now. Always respect these. When momentum clouds are above deep pullback clouds, we expect them to hold, at least on the first test. Lovely, good stuff, team. Good stuff, team. Love it when chat's winning. If you're winning and you're learning, even better. The way I always like to think of it is like an F1 car or something like that. I don't know if any of you watch F1, but you could probably relate this to sort of any sort of sport or car racing sport. All right, if I'm in a crap car, let's say I'm racing in the Williams, I need the Red Bulls and the Ferraris and the McLarens to come and get in this level here with DRS, and I'm going to follow them in their slipstream. I just want to get a little bit of that in their slipstream. I want them to do the hard work, and the McLarens and the Ferraris are the higher time frame funds. All right, so they're the funds playing higher time frame, and I'm the crap car playing lower time frame, just wanting to get a piece of it. That's how I like to think of it in my head all the time. Where's supply on the higher time frame? Yes, I can show you. These red areas here. Right, so if I just take this off to clean it up for you. Right, so this is where supply was. Tapped once, tapped twice, tapped 3 times. I expected those stops to get run. Now we're coming into this next level up here. So this is from Friday the 27th. If we get through that, we're going to trade all the way up into here, Friday the 24th. We zoom out. On a daily, you can see this level. The grey box is a cash gap, which we already filled. If we get through this grey box, we have upside potential. Remember what I talked about? We had contracting, make sure you can see that, we had contracting levels between these Bollinger Bands. And what we did yesterday was backtest the 20-day. We've now reclaimed the 5-day. What's the probable move? Top Bollinger Band. This is going to start trending up now with this. So we're going to start potentially extending into this level here. Not today, I'm not talking about today, but potentially we can trade into that next level of supply. Remember, ES is up here. It's coming into all-time highs. So you have relative strength in the ES. Did that make sense? Make sense, David? Looks like it wants to flag and go here, but we're still in supply. We're still in supply level, but it's going to want to take out the wicks at 96. No problem. So yeah, about 96 or 400 into 400. That's what it's looking to do. It's looking to run those. Like I said, I don't love these setups when we're in supply, but it is paying out. Like I said, it will probably go, and it'll probably go without me, and that's fine. I'm all right with that. I have to stick to my rules. Mind you, by the time it went, the flow zones did catch up, right? So here was ugly. but by the time the flow zone's called up, that's a much nicer trade. You have a much tighter risk. Does anyone know, maybe you guys might be able to help me out with this with TradingView. I used to have it so that if I copied and pasted, say, a supply level that I've drawn in my H1, if I copied and pasted it onto my 1 minute chart, it would go into the exact same position. And now I have it where it won't do it. So if I copy my supply level from the H1 and I post it here, it's posting it in some weird area. Does anyone know how to fix that? I don't think it's the lock key. Try it. No, it's not. So is it just a bug because I'm using TradingView app? Does anyone know? ES is the equivalent, William Boa, ES is the equivalent, the futures of the S&P 500, yes. So the SPX, the SPY, ES is the futures market for that. So you don't have to watch the ES, you can watch the SPY. I watch both. They both move the same way. The reason I watch both is just for the overnight gaps. So I haven't said it today. I've been trying not to say it, but do me a favor, all right? Hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps me out, helps the stream out a ton. Would really appreciate it if you can smash that like button, guys. Hit subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, I'm here every single day. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I hate saying it. I hate sounding like that influencer kind of guy, but honestly, it does make a really big difference to the channel. I feel like I'm providing good information, so I want to grow the channel and help other people and help myself at the same time by doing it. Right, so we tagged into supply like we talked about. This is why I didn't like buying these moves. I'm waiting for a deeper pullback or trap right now. Thanks, team. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining, Aaron and Taylor. All right, so we're still soaking off these flow zones. I would still like to see a trap underneath these levels here. Did we wash that? We didn't wash it. I would really like to see them run the buys out. So everyone buying in here, I'd rather we ran them out first. Personally, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so if you're a buyer in here, I want to see you lose, then get frustrated, shorts come in, reclaim, then get long. It might not do it, but that's what I'm looking for. When I'm buying high, I'm looking for traps. All right, if I'm buying high on the day, high on the session, I want traps. I need to see that shorts are stuck, and I need to see that bulls are already out. So remember, if you're bullish, your stop's there. If you're looking to get short, you're probably going to get short here. So if it does this move, bulls stop out, they become sell pressure, shorts get in, smart money counters that, right? So for every sell, they are able to get filled with a buy, and then we do that, all right? So they rebalance that market, and then we pivot up, and we trap them, and then we use their stops versus here for extension higher. That's what I'm looking for. Make sure I'm on the right chart. I am on the right chart. Cat, that's really hard to say, and I'd say it depends on each session, which is why I use like a slightly higher time frame. I'm only using it on like a 10-minute chart because I don't want to watch it tick by tick for the VIX. So Cat786 asked if the VIX leads the market or lags. I think it just works in tandem, but if there's divergence like we had today, then I know potentially is a trap being set. Sounds like a game of poker. Yeah, that's exactly what the market is, isn't it? I think we talk about it in the course. Like I want to have pocket aces or something good, at least like a decent pair to get involved in the market and know that the market's bluffing, and then I can get involved. What I don't want to do is bet with, like, you know, a 2-4 and get slammed in my face, which is what I feel taking trades here is, but it's working out right now. It is working out. Even though the VIX is trading by its IB low, it's not printing new lows, and we are trading in that supply block. Remember I said, I think 96 is the top of these wicks on the H1. I'm going to triple check that. Yeah, 96, 96.50. And then that, you know, psychological number at 400. Probably wants to trade up into that. There was a seller, all right, there was a seller until 10 minutes ago up at 450, and he's just pulled his order. I'd be very, very cautious about them slamming this for a... Yes, Scott, I have it on a tablet. That's why I keep leaning forward. My eyesight is terrible, absolutely terrible. But I've run out of screen space. If I'm not in chat and I'm not on Discord, then I can have it up here, but really I need another monitor. So I've got YouTube here, then I've got OBS here, and then I've got the VIX, the SPY, the ES, and the QQQ here, and I've got Ninja here, and I've got my higher time frames here. So I probably need one more screen now. I wouldn't need another screen if I wasn't streaming, but with OBS and YouTube taking up space, probably need it. Nice caps, yeah. So it gives you good confluence, doesn't it? When you see them working in the opposite ways, it can help give you confluence. 43 and a 27, nice. I think you said, did you send your setup in Discord? I can't remember if it was you or Ryan. So nothing to do right here for me. Really probably should have been holding runners, right? That is my fault. Should have been holding runners right now for a squeeze up, but emotions came into it a bit today. When I start the day off red, I seem to scalp my way back to green rather than letting the trades work, all right? That's just something I need to work on. I know I need to work on it in my journaling. It's very, very clear that I don't let my winners run as well as I should when I've started the day off red. So I am only human. I still make errors like that. You know, I should really be in here and up 70 points with runners available still. So can't be buying high, or at least I'm not willing to buy high. If that's part of your strategy, if you're a breakout buyer, you do what you want, right? There's nothing wrong with trading it if that's how you trade. Like I said, it can probably go more upside. So now tapped into 400 on the dot, all right? Psychological number. So it's washed the stops at 96, tapped 400. Everything we just talked about. ES has not yet put in a new all-time high, but it is close. All right, it's only $1.75 off it. So those psychological numbers, they come into play. Bang on the money, look at that, 400. Wash the stops at 96, tagged 400. Now maybe it gives a deeper pullback. Now I'm less interested in the long, all right? I'm less interested in this long right now. The reason for that is we've just gone and done the 96 run into 400. So it's gonna have to really show me something here for me to wanna get in. And if I do that, I'm definitely selling some back into this. All right, so if I take a long here on a pivot, I'm going to respect this structure up here, and I'm going to sell into that and then hold runners. It's a bit like yesterday. Those who caught the stream yesterday, and I said my bias would remain upside for the remainder of the day until the SPY does its gap fill. And once you complete that gap fill, it's much harder to hold that thesis longer. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this was yesterday. And I left stream here. And I said, you need to think about pivoting higher because SPY had not taken out previous day high yet. So you had basically a very similar thing. Here's your flag and it trapped sellers here. This is your lower time frame algo it tapped into. Here's your pivot, left shoulder, right, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, flag, continuation, flag, continuation, flag, flag, flag. At this point here, SPY had completed its gap fill. So there's no longs above here. So anyone that long that, they got slammed into end of day. So you have to also understand what the market's objectives are. It can't just keep going up forever and ever and ever. I mean, it can, but like not in one session, right? It has objectives that they set out at the beginning of the session. So it might be a new all-time high. It might be a gap fill. It might be taking out a liquidity pool, etc., etc. Once you do that, then you have to be aware that the high probability of it moving higher becomes slightly less. Did anyone actually catch that long yesterday? Hopefully a ton of you in Discord did. I was away from my desk, but I was calling it the whole way up. It looked really, really good. I was gonna be honest with you. I had a good bitch and moan to my wife last night that I didn't get it. I feel like most mornings this week have been really terrible, and then the move happens and I'm away from my desk. And I call it for people in Discord and I'm not there to take it. Very frustrating. That's what the market does. And I said it to my wife last night, saying the market probably do the opposite tomorrow because it's going to make people wait for the afternoon and then it's going to give a nice move in the morning. And it did. It did. It's given us a decent move today. Yeah, just wait, Matt. It's building lots of liquidity here. So this liquidity trend line, all right, all these bulls are in the money. I would really quite like to see them lose and then think about a long. Might not do it. If it's in a squeeze day, it might not do it. But look at the VIX trading back into the IBL. A range starting to tighten up, right? The ATR per candle's dropped right down to like 6 points. At the peak today, it was at 25 points per 1 minute candle. So range is tightening. We're still in supply, but we've taken the liquidity at 96 and tagged 400. ES has not yet tagged its all-time high. Yeah, that seller's still not there at 450. Someone's come on the book now at 435, only like 30 contracts, nothing of size. That buyer at the lows of that H1 has disappeared. He's gone. He knows he's not getting filled today. So I think this is going to wash. It doesn't mean I'm taking the short. That would be counter trend. But I think it needs to wash to trap. Can easily be wrong. All right, it can easily be wrong. Maybe it washes after ES breaks out of its all-time highs, but it's not something I'm interested in here. These moves like this are not something I like longing. I like longing. Remember, the market builds liquidity to go up by going down. I would want to see that for me to get involved, not the opposite. This is where rookies are buying and buying and buying and buying, and probably they're going to get slammed on. Because the market needs to make sure people lose. Doesn't mean I can take the short, right? It goes against my system when we're bullish even though I think there's a good short here, it goes against my system. And I tried to stick to my system because my edge is staying with my system. I win more when I stay with my system. When I go outside of my system, when I break my rules, when I try and pick the tops, when I try and play lots of counter trends, those losses start to add up. Tilt starts to build, you start doing silly things, and before you know it, you're in the red and you're in a hole. So I've gone red to green on the day. Honestly, unless something good sets up, that is probably it for me. Should be comfortably green. I've talked about it. I should be comfortably green on the day and holding a runner, right? I should be comfortably green and holding a runner. But I have an issue with my own psychology. When I'm red on the day, I tend to like to get green, which means I don't let the runners work as well as I would normally. If I was taking that trade that we just took here, and I was taking it and I was flat on the day or green, chances are I would have sold some here, I would have sold some here, and I'd be holding a runner now. Right, and I'd probably have my stop around here near the IB. So it is still a psychological issue. It's there just from protecting myself, all right? I try and protect myself, so it's trying to get that balance right. Yeah, JP, absolutely, absolutely. Possible sideways into the FOMC minutes. Definitely people will be wanting to see we talked about it this morning, I don't know if you were here, we want to see what they were talking about. How many of those Fed voters wanted 25? How many wanted 50? Were there any that wanted more than that? What were their thoughts going forward? What are they looking to see from CPI data, housing numbers, you know, all the areas where we're sticky to have more rate cuts? Have they given an inclination of when they might not give a cut? These things will become important because let's say they're like, if the job numbers are really good, we don't feel like we need to cut, we'll let inflation like cool off by itself. Market won't like that, right? Market wants to see it cut. Not too aggressively, but they will want to see it come down. All the other countries at the moment are on track right now. If you look at Germany, England, New Zealand overnight, they're all on track to hit 2%. In fact, some of them are more than on track to get right down to 2% next year. So does it roll here? Right, look at it starting to struggle to get back up towards here. It would need to take this out for ES to do its all-time high move. Then maybe it does it. ES still not taking that liquidity. It's trying, it's very close, and it might do it on this push right now. It's $1.50 away from doing it, I think. VIX new lower day, right? This is looking pretty good for a push up on the ES. Yeah, Capt, you will start to look at it like I do, I promise you, the more you're here, because every trade, you should be allowing it to have the same result. All right, if we don't trade with psychology, if we're purely trading on risk, reward, and setup, we should be letting those trades work. There's the sweep of the high. ES tagged 30 on the dot. Should really go through that and run the stops. So you can see the importance of key levels, high time frame levels, and looking across at the other indices. They matter. They really matter, especially NQ and ES. They're so closely correlated, and the VIX. I don't really care much for the RTY or the YM, just personally. Although I do think there's good edge in trading those. I do think because of the one-day option expiries on the SPY and the ES, I do think some days we get weird moves in these markets, which you won't get so much in the YM and the RTY. I have considered trading them. I think if I lived in another country, if I move back to Europe, I might do that. I might trade one session with like the YM or RTY and another session with NQ and maybe gold in the Asia session. Let's have a look, Scott. I'm going to have a look on my phone. Aha, yes, I see it. I like that holder that you have, Scott. That's cool. So I've got similar to you, but I've got one vertical each side and a main monitor here. So new all-time highs on the ES now. Very bullish structure on the 10-minute on the ES. Just straight up. No pullbacks on the 10-minute since 9:50. As soon as it broke out, that was it. It's never looked back. So I can't remember who it was in chat. Someone in chat was saying they were looking to short this market, and I was saying just make sure you obey structure. Hopefully I saved you some money there, whoever that was. Forget who it was. So now we need to see if the liquidity sweep occurs. Still in buying structure. I'm probably done for the day here. If we base up here, I'd really like to see the market move back down towards 330s or so. But if we base up here and we keep extending, it's just going to keep driving up on the NQ until the next level. All right, so we can look at the higher time frame. The next level is up here. So it's level 1, level 2. It's going to now look to trade into this next level. So maybe a little roadblock into 45 to 33, but really it should be extending into 450s all the way up to 537. It's just unfortunate the liquidity being built is not really very nice. This would have been much better if it was like this. This is much better RR to do this move than just joining a slow grind up. But so be it. We cannot get them all. Again, if you're looking at the VIX, it's not printing new lows here. Wondered if we were going to do a meme print then and stop at 420. That would have been fun. So new all-time highs on the ES in a complete pump in a buy model right now. Breakout retest held this morning on the high time frames. We're in trend day because we're above that initial balance high. We can think about initial balance extensions here. Coming right into that 161 of the extension. Measured move would take you to 467 of the initial balance. If we're going to look at it from this pullback leg. Oh, sorry, I've left you on the wrong chart. My apologies. So already done more than a measured move on the pullback leg. If we're looking at the initial balance levels. Bye, darling. Then we're coming into that 161 into 426. We get through that measured move 470. So like I said, should have been holding the runners. I should have been holding the runners. But I'm only human. This is not a day you want to be thinking about shorts. So seller back on the book, 435. Like I said, that guy was up there at 450. He was on the book for a while. He added to it and then he pulled his order. It looks like the same seller at 435. So just be concerned if they're going to do that sort of rug pull here after taking out all-time highs. Now that ES has taken the liquidity of all-time highs, is it going to do a rug pull or is it just going to hold now? It's kind of hard looking at this to think about structures I'd want to get involved in. Right, really now it's going to have to hold. Yeah, for me, it's still, I prefer that 30 level, but if not, the top of those hourlies into 75s. Now we've got through it. 400 whole psychological level, but I still would prefer to see a deep pullback and a wash of everybody here. Still think it needs to take everybody out. They should have been selling into this move into all-time highs on the ES. They got very lucky. If you were buying high up here, you should have been selling into that. You got lucky because really this should come and wash everybody. So if its objective was just to create a new all-time high and then dig deeper, it will do that now. This is a strong candle here. So this right here where it's stopping, that is the top of the hourly supply we had to put in, which is blasted through. I'm just going to change these. Those hourly supplies now, for me, become potential demand areas. So we just literally tapped into one. This was one right here, tapped into it and held for now. VIX looking like it wants to trade lower here. If it can trade lower into that block, I'm really interested to see if it holds up there. Really don't expect VIX to do a gap fill today, but if it lets go and does it, this market can absolutely go on a tear. So approaching 835 now, approaching 835 on ES. Another stop run. All right, so just in a tight channel here. These are not areas I like to buy in. Okay, I'm not interested in buying these. So far, every dip is holding. You'll have to excuse me. I'm going to be right back. sorry about that, guys. Let me see if we can sort this stream out. Still nothing I can do here. Market just moving straight up. Every pullback soaked. I'm not willing to buy high of day right now, so not much I can do here. We're coming into lunch in 10 minutes, so just chilling here. More squeeze here. If you're in this, good for you. Like, really, really nice play. I just cannot be joining this for a continuation higher now. VIX now trading into that box we talked about, right at low of day into 80 and under it. Can trade down into 60, 65. If it snaps that, it will cause a move into the gap. There's just nothing I can do here. I had the trade, didn't hold on to it. It is what it is. Maybe now the NQ is going to go for that move up into the highs on the hourly that we talked about. So from, might as well call it 450. From 450 up to 550-ish, 540-ish. There's nothing I can do here in joining the longs. I do not want to just participate in this channel. You might say that's odd, but I just don't like buying high. It's just not how I play. Even though these flow zones are holding and soaking, like I said, I'd be looking for a trap play for me to get involved at higher prices. So hopefully some of you are in runners. There's that bounce on the VIX, right? Off that 2080 we talked about, a small bounce there on the VIX. Sorry, just catching up with some messages. Those in my Discord will know why I have a lot going on outside of here at the moment. So more of this squeeze up then, just straight up. No pullbacks at all today, other than this morning's push. So coming into that next area then, 450 all the way up to 540 is what we were talking about on the NQ. Yes, all-time highs, right? So it's at 840s tagged now, maybe 850 psychological level would be that next move. Nice, Scott. Very nice. Yeah, they're offering good moves right now. Every dip holding here. Every 1 minute dip. A 1 minute structure. I'm just looking at the 5 minute and the 15 minute. It's just straight up. All right, straight up. But it can keep going straight up all day. If those shorts got significantly trapped, it will keep going straight up. That doesn't mean you should be looking for a short in this market. I'm probably going to call it a day there though, team. I've got, as you probably noticed, I've got quite a lot going on outside of trading this week. And probably got to get on a few phone calls. So appreciate everyone turning up. Sorry if I've been a bit tired and a bit quiet the last 15 minutes or so. Yeah, 460 exactly, Scott. 460 is where it's looking to trade to. But trade safe. Don't be picking tops in this market, okay? Don't be picking tops. You are in a trend day high. You must not pick tops. I'll be back same time tomorrow. Please, please, please trade safe. Stick with the momentum. And if you haven't got a piece of it, don't worry. You can always trade tomorrow. Plenty more days coming up. Don't forget, you've got that FOMC minutes coming up later in the day. All right, peace out. Trade safe. Use hard stops.